Welcome to 3Bs on a Mission. Healing, humor, and hard truths served hot. And that's what we're about here today.
Coming in hot.
Coming in hot. 911, right? Yeah, that number's still popping up for me. I'm trying to think if there are a couple of other numbers too, but I'm not gonna get into that. I have no idea. They just show up. Okay. All right. So, oh my gosh, I love the towel. That is incredible. Okay.
This hat is absolutely amazing. I didn't want to put it on my dirty hair because this is like 3-day and it's got lots of hairspray on it. Sorry.
Okay.
So, but next week I'm going to wear this.
Towel and a towel hat. I love it.
I absolutely love it. I was dying.
It's
Thank you very much. I appreciate
You're welcome.
you.
Towel and the towel hat.
Yes, towel and a towel hat. I mean,
So
how
great.
much?
Can you tell she's our favorite?
It's so great. I love it.
Definitely
And the
our
books.
favorite.
Oh my, you two and the books. Of course, I had to write you sick.
Well, because we kind of are, but
Well,
okay.
we
I
do.
love it.
Right.
So what I should mention is like, boy, I have no idea how this podcast is going to go because, boy, we have had some issues. Okay, in the last little bit. Okay, a couple of weeks ago, the podcast that we dropped when we were inviting people in to come and join us got flagged on YouTube. Okay, and it got suppressed. So I'm just going to mention again, in case you did not see that, we're going to put the link again down in this podcast. We had it in our last week's as well. We're going to keep just putting the word out there for people to join us. For some reason, something does not want us to do that, which is crazy, which should be even more of a kind of confirmation and like, sounding to you all to say, there's somebody out there that's watching us that is supposed to come forward and start to talk with us, right? So we've got some interest with people, but listen, if you're sitting on the fence and you're like, I don't know, whatever, I promise you it's not that scary. We will be, I know it can seem daunting, but I think we're pretty lovely human beings. Like, you would feel comfortable with us. I promise. So, there's a reason that's happening. And then when we went to record this one today, we just spent the last, half an hour?
An hour.
Our equipment, for some reason, we haven't touched anything. And it was just malfunctioning all over the place. So I don't know what the heck's going on, but listen, I just take these as signs as like, something just is not wanting us to talk about things. It's crazy. Yep. Okay. Well, too bad. We're going to do it anyway. So we're persevering and we're just moving. So there you go. So anyway, so welcome. So this is 3Bs on a Mission. And a Mr. B, he's with us today. I see his little mohawk hair.
His little head.
He likes
back.
to stare at me.
Yep.
He gets mad if he's not facing me and being able to like lick the air towards me.
I love it.
Such a weirdo.
I love it.
I love him.
He is such a weirdo. I love him. And his little mohawk hair. Hey, Mr. B, welcome back. We know you were on a little vacay, last time. So, thanks for joining us again. Yes. So, putting in your time, putting in the work, Mr. B. Thanks.
Anytime.
Okay. All right. So, let's do some affirmations. You bees ready with your affirmations? You only had half an hour.
Right.
To try to get them.
I'm like,
okay.
Generally, I don't have the time to like fill Tally in and everything. Tally usually hears everything as everybody else hears everything as we kind of go through. But, the additional half hour, she got a deep dive, girl.
There you go. You got some decompression
in our debriefing,
time.
we,
yeah.
Our debriefing.
I love it. I love
that. I'll go.
Okay.
I cut through the bullshit and get things done.
Okay. I like that. And listen, we've had some of that. So there we go. We're doing it. So there you go. I love it. Tally, how about you?
Mine is, there's nothing more badass than just being who you are.
I love that. I love that.
Oh, God. I said that
That's the most
in the band or not the band one, the flagged podcast. I said because the Gutter Monkey was doubters, and I said
your flex.
your biggest flex exactly
is
being
exactly who you
say
are.
you are.
Apparently they didn't like that. I don't know.
No.
Listen, I went back and I watched that one like a bunch of times, and I'm like, I have no idea what would set that off. I mean, it could be a million things. Whatever.
Things.
It's water under the bridge.
Because they don't pinpoint what it was. They just say
you were flagged.
You were flagged, and it was due to gore.
I wonder. I wonder if it wasn't the book.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it could be. I mean, it could have been like. Well, I'm not even gonna mention anything because I don't want to go there again. But so we're just gonna let that all go.
I brought
what do you got today.
Crows before bros.
And that's hilarious. Oh my God.
Support your local murder.
Oh my God. Now here, listen. You know what? I'll have to just.
You'll have to read that part. Just cut my edit out the M word that I said.
Yep, I will.
Read it. Why don't we instead of saying that we go
or muck duck or red rum from The Shining. Anyway, okay, I'll probably have to edit all that out, but whatever. It's okay.
Sorry.
Okay. All right.
Damn it.
So, okay, my affirmation this week is I am constantly improving and leveling up in every area of my life.
Perfect.
Right? And that's what we all should be doing.
Yep.
Okay. Do you guys have anything to add before we go into our come up?
Yeah.
Anything popping off? Okay.
I do.
You? Go, G.
Yeah. So I got the green light from the universe this week about my role in a lot of things. But my role, like I had said before, but I guess I didn't have the green light, was Wendy is the love and the light. I'm the trigger, bitch. And I'm going to tell you why I know that. So the last episode, the one just before this, has not released. There is no shorts. There is no anything out in the public yet. So we're recording this, and that last one has not been released. And that last one is a very triggering story that I have weighed back and forth a lot of times saying, do I say it? Do I not? And I reached out to Wendy and said, there is one family member that it'll break my heart because I know it's going to wreck him if he hears this, because this individual I'm speaking about, he actually admires. And he was a male. Crazy. He had male children. So I never felt the need to tell him this story ever. And again, we don't know who watches us. We have no idea. We're not sifting through 40, 80,000 viewers. We don't know. We have no idea.
Right. Exactly.
So he could watch it. He could not. I don't know. And maybe he'll skip this episode, whatever. I don't know. But it was weighing on me that one, if he sees it, that it would wreck him. And I told Wendy that. And she's like, you sure you don't? He doesn't have an idea. And I said, no, actually, a couple of years ago, he asked me directly why I cut this individual in our family off. And I remember exactly what I said and exactly what I did. I grabbed him by his face very gently. And I told him, I'm not going to tell you that, because inside I knew it was going to wreck him. So I said to him, I looked him dead in the face and I said, you know me, and all you need to know is that I had a valid reason to do so. He gave me a big hug. We left. We've never spoke about it again. So that one is the one that weighed on my mind. And I expressed that to Wendy. Also, I talked about in that story, every time Blue shows up in my life, right after that, my twin shows.
Yep.
That is something I spoke about. What I didn't say, I kind of said throughout the episodes. So for the last month, it's been desolate. Wendy's described that before. Like my twin.
What? Can I tell you something I learned this week? And this might be where you're at. There's a stage in the twin flame journey that's called the void, where
Yeah.
you don't sense them at all, right? So you don't
Yes.
feel their energy, you don't see them, you
Yep.
don't hear them, you don't. And so if
Yep.
anybody's on a twin flame journey, one of the things that you really get used to is like their energy is present. Like it comes in and out all the time. We talk about this a lot.
Yes.
And so, but there becomes a point on the journey as you progress that it's called the void. So I wonder if that's where you're at or have been at. Anyways, I just wanted to interject that.
Right. So it's been about a month. I mean, I told you he used to come in, and then for a while he was Page Juan's peeker and just peeking around the corners, not saying anything. And now
Yep.
it's nothing. It's a void.
Yeah.
I have
Yeah.
zero. I feel like, the connection is gone. Like
Yeah. Yep.
there's nothing there. And that's
Yep.
and again, I hold nothing either way, whatever. So this is where we know I have zero connection, 5D feelings, anything like that with my twin. And I'm worried about this last podcast and this one
Yep.
individual, this younger male, being hurt by it. So
Yep.
that all being said, I didn't do anything about any of it. I was just like, it's going to be where it is, whatever. And what was it yesterday morning? It was yesterday morning. Yesterday morning, I wake up and I go into Facebook because, again, I just go in there for like the Alan Watts reels and whatever, the
Yep.
spirituality stuff like that. So, again, I don't check timelines. I don't look at anything. So, unless it's right at the top, I don't see it. But what was right at the top of my feed was a picture. Actually, there was two. And these two pictures were of that young family member and my twin.
Mm-hmm.
And my twin had his arm around him and
Yep.
they were together doing whatever. And the universe had to show me that. And
Mm-hmm.
all I heard inside of me is, it's okay. And he's going to be okay.
Yeah.
So it was a proud moment for me right there.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
again, in the 3D world, everybody's like, oh, they're just hanging out. They were what oh, listen,
Yep.
I don't give a hell, shit, fuck, whatever you want to talk about. What the
All of those
situation
things.
was. Okay.
Yep.
All
Yep.
of those things. But it
Yep.
was this one person on my mind. And then it's the twin I have not seen. I don't have any connection to. I don't see anywhere. I have to see, and it has to be right at the top with his arm around him. And I was like, okay, green light, because now I know whether my twin knows it or not, he's listening to his intuition. And
Yep.
for whatever reason, he was there on that day with that person with his arm around him for a reason. And he doesn't even know it yet, but he's
Yep.
going to.
Yep.
He's going to.
Right. Well, and in your case, your twin is the divine masculine, which makes him a protector. And
Yep.
so in my mind, and when you told me about that and then showed me, it was like that's what I heard was
Yeah.
like, because this person is connected to you and he is he is your protector, he becomes kind of in a sense a protector of the people and the things that you love too.
Yep.
So whether he knows that or
Yeah.
not, that's
Right.
that's kind of the
And
influence
that's
he
the
has.
thing. You can't say that anybody knew anything about, like, nothing is told anywhere. The three people that
No,
even know anything that was on that podcast are sitting right here.
exactly.
That's
Yep.
it.
That's not even out there
It's
yet.
not out in the world yet. It's not. But
Nope.
so that was my green light from the universe to say, you are not the love and light here. You are the trigger, and you're doing
Yep.
exactly what you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
So now game on,
Yeah.
bitch.
God, now we're unleashing her Tully lock and load over there. I don't know what's going to happen, but she's starting to
We
pull
got
the
B.
trigger
He'll
on
take care.
things.
He'll take care of it. He'll take care of it. Don't worry about
He'll
it.
keep licking me until I calm
He's
down.
like, dude, I
That's
got
it.
this.
Don't you
I
worry
mean-
about it, man.
Well,
Look
yeah,
at
and
him.
that's the thing.
I'm gonna mess some people up.
Look at him. He does look
I
pretty
actually,
badass.
right now, also, I have nobody in my life. Like, nobody in my daily life at all. I
Right.
am alone. I cut everybody off. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and I think I am meant to do that
Yeah.
because if I'm meant to be a trigger, you're not going to be able to get to me to influence me any other way.
Yeah.
Again, I see my kids, but my kids
Yep.
we don't talk about any of this. None of
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Ever. They
Yeah.
talk about their things. I hang out with my grandkids. That's it. So you can't get to me through the one and only people that I have contact with. And these two, they don't even know what the hell I'm saying until I show up here, and then they're like, "Oh God!" And Wendy's like, "Do I edit that out or no, girl? Let
Is
it
that going to
fly."
get us restricted or what?
Right,
I don't know. I
right.
don't know.
I'll try to
You know,
say
I'm
it
just
as
learning.
nicely as I possibly can, but yeah, I think I'm
I
gonna
just,
change the gutter monkey segment into
yeah,
trigger this bitch.
perfect. I like it.
I
You
think it's
know,
great.
you need to kind of change it up
Makes more
anyway.
sense.
So I like it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Makes more
exactly.
sense.
Well, you know what? It's so funny you're talking about triggered because
Oh
that
God.
is what inspired the come up this week. So I don't want to go into that yet. Tolly, you have anything going on with you? G, anything more for you?
Oh, I'm good.
I don't think so.
You just hanging in there, Tolly?
Last week was just with people being obnoxious and just rude.
Okay.
I'm getting very tired of the climate.
I get you.
It's
I get you.
disgusting.
Yep.
And I'm just extremely disappointed in people showing their true colors. It's a sad state, but you know what? Yeah, you do what you got to do, and
Yep. And you're
You
gonna do
I'll be
you.
over here. I'll be over here.
That's right.
keep fucking with her, please do,
I'll be over
because
here.
I will put you on the trigger this bitch segment as well, because we are out
Exactly.
here and I'm
Exactly.
not. So for all of like anybody who's like, oh God, you're gonna know the ones that are going to be like, oh no, because I'm announcing this before I actually start
Yep.
saying anything.
Yep.
They're going to be the ones that are walking around either doing one of two
Yeah.
things. They're either going to try to get ahead of it and be like, try to
Yep.
over explain what they think I might say.
Yep.
Or they're going to be the ones that are going to be trying to be like, oh, she's a liar, or she's da 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 da, and try to like, put me,
Yep.
bitch, never.
Yeah.
Never. I don't have
And wait.
no reason to lie, and I got nobody around me that you can manipulate
Yes.
to
That's right.
skew the truth. So,
And
like I said, game on.
wait until our audience meets some of the spicy bitches that we plan to bring on and rock with us, like friends of ours that we will be inviting on. And if you think the dragon is fiery, we got a couple for you that are gonna just knock your socks off. But we love them. We love them. My God, exactly. That's what I'm saying. So you wait for when they come on, because boy, woo, I love it. I love it. So, and I'm excited to invite them in. Okay. All right. But speaking of triggers,
Okay.
this message this week is really personal for me. And I know that it hits for a whole lot of people, specifically women, I think. But I'm not saying that men don't feel this too, but I'm going to tell you women do. And the message is around like, you don't need more love, you need more self-worth. And so this week, man, I did something that I shouldn't have done. And G was like, yo.
Uh-oh.
So, I'm not going to go into it. All I'm going to say is, when you're on a journey, whether it's a spiritual awakening journey and specifically a twin flame journey, one of the things that you have to learn to do is trust your intuition, trust your knowing, trust the signs, trust the things that they show you, let go of everything and just keep it moving. Don't look back. Don't look to the side. We've talked about this a million times. It's like, you know who your person is. You don't even know, a lot of times you don't even know if they're awakened or not. Like, you have no idea, because if you're in this state of like no contact, then you just do you. Like, this is about you. This is about your healing. But there comes some points too, sometimes where, and again, I want to say this too, is like, there are a lot of people that are out there that are guides right now that are actually encouraging what I did this week. And oh yeah, yeah, to do this and then be done with it. It's like, so what I did was I asked a question. And I'm going to tell anybody who's on these journeys is like, you don't ask questions. So, and I know that sounds so like, I don't know what that sounds like. It's not that.
Counterintuitive.
Yeah,
It sounds
is.
counterintuitive. It's
It
like,
does.
well, if I'm
It's like,
supposed to
you're
know,
not
then why don't I
supposed to.
know?
Right. Yeah. Right. Exactly. This is a part of me. If this is part of my whatever, it's like, then why shouldn't I know? And the thing is like, because I think it takes the focus away from you. But anyway, so I I asked a question of God, of spirit, and I said, "Show me this." Specifically, I had a very specific question that I asked, and what I got, what I got instead was a whole wound mirrored to me that I had not faced, and it was about self worth. Because the reason that I now understand that I asked the question was because of my lack of self worth. And so learn from my lesson, because when I tell you that this thing hit the hardest of anything that I have encountered for the last almost year, I am not lying. And G had to check on me because
Yep.
she was like, "Oh shit."
Well, as soon as you told me you did it, I was like, damn, girl. Okay. And I told you, shit, well, buckle up, Buttercup, because it's
Yeah.
coming. And then
Yeah. So
the
that stuff is
next
true.
day, you called me and was like, I am wrecked to the core. And I
Yep.
said, what I say? I said, well, you just go take your little tubby and cry it out in the tub and get your lesson and don't do that shit again
That's
because
right.
it's going to
Just
wreck
keep it
you.
moving. Yep.
But
Yep.
you
It
got the
did.
lesson from it, and now it's part of your come
And
up.
now it's part of the come up. Share with everybody else. Okay. And then you know what? And then we're going to talk about, because in your gutter monkey, it's going to go along with this too. Boy,
Yep.
the universe handed me another test of self-worth too. So but we'll get to that.
Yep.
But anyways, okay. So self-worth. So spiritual awakening doesn't just open your mind, it exposes every place you settle. And every time you said, "It's fine," when it wasn't, or every time you overgave to be chosen, or every time you accepted crumbs and called it a connection,
Yep.
um, you were abandoning yourself. And so, one of the hardest truths that you have to face in this lifetime, especially if this is a wound that you carry, a lack of self worth, is you didn't lack love, you lack the self worth to require better. Right?
Yep.
So there were probably a lot of situations in your life where you tolerated less than you deserved because you didn't expect more for yourself. So now that you're here and you start to have this wound reflected to you and you realize like, okay, so maybe I've done all these things and so I have this self-worth wound, which is where I was very much on my face. And when I say on my face, not able to function for several hours, okay?
Hmm.
It was rough.
I
It
waited
was
till the next
rough.
day. I let you kind of
Yeah.
go out into the next day,
Yeah.
and I said, "Hey, just checking. You
Yeah.
still on?
It was bad.
You got 10 toes down?"
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I did, but it was barely. Okay.
Yeah.
So now when you're there and you realize what you've done and what has happened for you and where you've been, it's outgrowing the dynamics that once felt normal, and it's questioning your behavior or behavior that you used to tolerate. And it's feeling uncomfortable in spaces you used to shrink to fit into. And so, it's like when this is reflected to you, because that's exactly what it was happened to me. It was like, man, there's like the mirror shot up. It's like, oh,
Yep.
shoot, God. But so when you realize all of this, okay, this is where people get stuck. It's because now that you know your worth, but you don't maybe necessarily truly trust yourself to honor it yet. And that's where I was. So I've been very open. Like, listen, I have learned my worth. I have learned that I won't accept, breadcrumbing. I
Yep.
know what I will tolerate and what I won't. I have practiced putting up boundaries over the last 10 months of my life. This has been a practice in my 3D, right? And i'm
Hmm.
i'm doing that, but the problem is that what happened with me this week and what I did demonstrated that I don't fully trust myself to honor my self-worth yet. Because when you start practicing boundaries, it can feel like guilt or anxiety or overthinking every word or wondering if you're too much, because now all of a sudden you're like, no, like I don't roll like that, or I don't accept that, or
Yep.
I wouldn't even entertain that, or I wouldn't.
Yep.
Are you kidding me? And so, if you haven't had that level of self worth since you were young, then all of this stuff comes up where then all of a sudden you start to kind of shrink back a bit where you're like, yeah, maybe I'm being too much. Like, why would this stuff matter anyways? Like, why am I being so like defensive, or why am I thinking about all of this stuff so much? Like, nobody else gives a fuck. Like, why would I, you
Yeah.
know? And so that kind of starts to happen for you. So, and it's because you were conditioned to believe that boundaries would lead to rejection. You know, how many times in your life have you put up a boundary and then people bounced? Okay.
Yep.
And so before
Yep.
you understand your self-worth, you see that as rejection. But really what it is protection, you know?
Yep.
Because if those people are bouncing because you put up boundaries, and Tully, you've said this a lot of times, the reason they're doing it is because they were benefiting from your lack of boundaries. So now you
Mhm.
throw a boundary and you're like, fuck off, you know? And like, but it takes a minute to realize that it's not you that is being rejected. It's their lack of access to the things you used to provide that is being cut off and protected for
Yep.
you. It's, you know, it's when you're conditioned to believe that choosing yourself is abandonment. So it's like, if I choose me, but then you don't choose me, then that's abandonment, right? So it's like, well, wait a minute. I'm choosing me so that because I know what I'm worth and I know what I deserve, but then you don't think that. So like for some reason, like it gets turned as abandonment. And it's that if you've been conditioned of, you know, about having standards actually leads to losing people. So those three things are constantly working now, but they're supposed to, right? Because here's the thing, it's like your lack of boundaries didn't keep people in your life. It kept misaligned connections longer in your life. It kept the wrong people in your life.
About that, you and I actually had a conversation yesterday about that, about how
Yep.
you always felt the abandonment and the rejection because
Mhm.
people would ghost you and be ripped out of your life, where I
Yes.
was the opposite. I had the
Yes.
stage 5 clingers that wouldn't fucking leave my life that needed to. And I was like, okay, I've had enough now. Get the
Yes.
fuck out. Like, get
Yes.
the fuck out
Yes.
my house. You know,
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
but
Mm.
that's why we had two different paths, and we had
Yep.
two different
Yeah.
personalities, two different everything. But you had to have that abandonment wound, and I
Oh,
had to have
big
that,
time.
keep taking it until you can't
You
anymore,
couldn't
and then
anymore.
get the fuck out.
Exactly. Yeah, so it's very odd, you know, and it was like that was kind of an epiphany for both of us where it was like, yeah,
Mhm.
man, I'm telling you, like I would do everything
Mhm.
to keep people in my
Keep people
life. And
around.
I'm telling you right now,
Fuck that
like
shit.
they would just I don't even like to think about how many times like I've been rejected and abandoned by people I never thought, or that the universe just straight up did some crazy shit to remove people from my life that I
Mhm.
never I couldn't control. Like it
Mhm.
just happened. And
Because
so
you
I don't
weren't ever
know.
the one strong enough to say, like, no, no more. You
Right.
you did not have that
Right.
strength, where I was
Right.
literally, I came out the womb with it. And it was, remember when I was a
You sure
baby, they
did.
couldn't leave me at anybody's house
Yes.
because I would
Yes.
cry
Yep.
until they
Yep.
took me home.
Yep. Yeah, you
Like,
were not an
as
easy
a
child.
as a
Yeah.
baby. We're not talking like toddler. We're talking baby. Like,
Running her
Yeah.
mouth as a babe.
yup, get me the
She
Mm.
fuck up
was.
out of here. I don't like none of this motherfucking, you know, that's what I was
Yep.
screaming out.
Yep.
I don't like none
Exactly.
of
And
and
as
then
soon as we would get home, you would look around and be totally fine. Be totally quiet
damn
and totally
straight.
go to
Homebody.
sleep.
Damn straight.
I'm telling
Damn
you, it was
straight.
crazy.
Nice and
She was
sleep.
like, "Yeah, nah, nah, I'm not about all these these people."
Mm-mm.
Um, yeah, and we mentioned before too is like you wouldn't even stay in your room, like you wouldn't even go to sleep in your room in your bed, like you were always like,
Where would you
"There's
sleep?
like
In her room.
animals in my room,"
Oh,
and so she'd come in my
Oh,
room
the
all the
big
time
eyes.
because yeah, she was like,
oh.
"There's big eyes on in the animals on my walls," and
I was
I
being
don't
watched.
know.
I
It was
felt I was being watched as a child.
Yeah. You always had that same issue, man. Like it was like, no, you didn't want to be in there because you felt like you were The eye, you kept just talking about the eyes on the
Mhm.
wallpaper and the walls. I don't know.
Yep.
I don't know, but I do remember that.
Yep.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Watchers as
I
a
don't
kid.
know. Yeah, I
Mm.
don't know why it had to be. I think you're right. I think I never had strong enough boundaries as a
Or self-worth.
yeah, or self-worth because it was taught not to. It was like, no, you just
With
give
that.
of yourself until there's just nothing left. And hey, you almost become, if you don't have a strong sense of self-worth, what happens is you almost become a chameleon. Okay. And
Yep.
I'm telling you, I learned how to read people and read rooms. And I mean, I could become whatever they wanted. And I know that sounds really manipulative. And it wasn't from a manipulative place, it was from a need to be loved and need to be accepted place. And it was like, I'm telling you, like I could read people and I very quickly and be like, okay, yeah, I see what they're about. And you'd become like, my God, like you could just become what they wanted and what they needed. But was that what you wanted and needed and who you were? Hell no. And so when they started stripping all of this away from me initially, that's why I went into such a downward spiral because it was like, who the fuck am I? Because I hadn't ever really stopped to think about it. I had just always adapted to whoever or whatever was in my life. And I just became whatever that was and became, I guess, sort of comfortable with
Fuck
it until
that.
it just kept falling
Mhm.
apart. But that's why it always fell apart, and that's why now I understand why things walked away, things rejected me, things abandoned me, things betrayed me, things it was just constant. It's just been a constant flow of that in my life, and, it's because I did that to myself, and so
Mhm.
that's what wrecked me this week, was that the mirror showed me this week that it wasn't those people doing it to me. It was me doing it to me. That I always
Yeah.
betrayed myself, that I rejected myself, I abandoned myself, I didn't think enough of myself, I didn't give myself boundaries. Well, I got news for myself and anybody else listening. I've learned that lesson now. And that, now, and it'll be really interesting because as I meet people now and as my life starts to align, it'll be a whole different experience because I'm not a chameleon anymore. Like I am who I am and it either aligns or it doesn't. And I don't have any feelings about that one way or another. It just does. Okay. Um which is just interesting. Um but anyway, so learning boundaries are clarity and it teaches you to say like this is what I'll accept or this is what I'll no longer tolerate or this is where I stop abandoning myself to keep you, right? And so when you raise your standards, people will respond. They certainly do. Some will rise, some will
Mhm.
resist and give you all kinds of noise, and then some people will disappear. And you know
Yep.
what you need to know is let them. Let
None
them
of
do
it's your
all those
business.
things. Let them, because you're
Damn
not about
straight.
that anymore, you know? So the
You're not
real work.
responsible for what somebody else feels. Period.
No. No, and you can't manage that and you can't control that and you can't
You're not
nothing.
supposed to.
Exactly. None of that. Because then if you're doing that, then you're not taking care of yourself. And so that's something that, a lot of us have to learn because that's where self-worth comes from. Is like that worth the time and the energy and the love that you give to yourself. And it's interesting too because one of the things that I was shown this week was like in this self-worth lesson is that you you have never really experienced true love and connection. Why? Because you've never fully loved you. So if you can't fully love yourself, then
Mhm.
you can't have that connection with somebody else.
Yep.
And so that's why they all fell apart. That's why they didn't work. That's why they didn't whatever is because you were trying to keep this bond and it was false. It was like it wasn't going to last. What the hell was it built on? Like sand and pebbles, nothing sturdy, that's for sure.
Yep.
And when you become fully whole in yourself, then you don't need anybody. Like, you don't need them. So then when you do have people in your life, whether they're friendships, they're partnerships, it's love, it's whatever. It's that you all have a love and support of one another, but you're not pouring out to this person and they're not having to pour out to you. Like, there's none of that. Like, you just show up as your full selves, and then there's an alignment that happens. There's a natural flow and a natural give and take between you, but it's not because you're broken anymore. It's not because you need to be fixed, because you don't. You've already done that yourself, and you continue to do that yourself, and you heal yourself. Yeah. So, anyways, but there is fear that comes with this, because you've lived so long for this. Like, the fear, though, is the older version of you that says, if they leave me, I'm not safe. Or if they don't choose me, I don't matter. And the answer is like, no. If they leave you or they don't choose you, it's because it wasn't aligned. It wasn't right. And like I said, it's because you didn't choose you. So, like,
Mm-hmm.
no more in my life will I ever worry about those things. But boy, they had to really, they really had to yank
You
that
need to
out
go
of
with
me.
my motto. I always
Yeah.
said, if I'm an option, I'm not one. If I'm an option, go choose the other option,
They,
because I'm nobody's option. I'm not
that's,
1, 2, or 3. I'm
that's
it,
true.
or I'm not
Or
it.
I'm not.
Like,
Or I'm not.
cut and dry.
And that's okay. And and the thing is like, you're not going to be everybody's it. Okay. And
No.
that's cool. That's
You
totally
can't be a cup
fine.
of tea. You can't be everybody's cup of tea if you're a bottle of gasoline. You were looking for tea, bitch?
Exactly.
I serve
Hey,
gasoline. So
exactly.
you might want to
Exactly.
go
And
find
that's
tea
okay.
over there.
That's okay. That's okay. That's
Because somebody's
why
going to be
when
looking for a cup of gasoline to douse on a fire and light some shit up.
probably that's
Most
true.
likely.
That's
Yeah.
that's very
She's
true.
like, most
Okay.
likely.
Yeah, most likely somebody will be. I am not a cup of gasoline. Okay. I am not
I'm
that
not.
at all. I am
You are
not.
definitely the chamomile tea. You are
I
definitely
Agreed. Of
am.
all the
the,
teas, you were
r- yep,
chamomile.
yep.
I am the
Just
chamomile
soft
tea.
and
I'm
soft
okay
and
with that.
lull you to sleep.
I am. That's the way I am. And it's funny
Hmm.
too is that I've always had such feelings about that. I was like, no, you gotta be this, you gotta be tough, you gotta be strong. And listen, I am a tough bitch, okay? Because if you push me now, it's like, no, you're gonna see. Like, I have boundaries and I can stand on my own. So don't mistake my kindness and my gentleness for weakness, because it ain't weak. I'm telling you right now, I have been tried in fire, okay? Over and over and over again, as we all have, okay? So it's like, don't be surprised. I mean, just because the dragon shows up and she's fierce as hell, right? People are going to read that and be like, oh shit, I'm not going to mess with her. But don't think that you can mess with either Talia or I either, because we come off in a different way. It's like, no, we're the sneaky ones because we may not present like that. It's like, you push me, you're going to find out.
Yeah, I
But
mean, but that's the thing. I was that soft girl, or I told you, for that
yeah,
one little relationship in my life. And
yep.
I'll tell you what, that
Uh-huh.
motherfucker is gonna be like, oh shit. Now I see why I should not have
Yep.
crossed that, because those demons gonna be
Yep.
demoning. They gonna be tap dancing on your ass. Good luck.
That's very true. It's very true. And again, it has nothing to do with us. It just, hey, that's the
No.
protection you come with now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So relearning your self-worth isn't loud. It's not dramatic. It's most of the time it's subtle, or it's broken, as it was for me. And it's now for me, it's like pausing before I say yes. And it's not explaining my boundaries 18 different ways. And it's not chasing someone who's inconsistent. And it's not accepting almost when I know that I'm a full experience, and it's like, we either come, and if you want to be in alignment with any of us in friendship, like I said, friendships, partnerships, relationships, it's like, nah, you don't accept like lukewarm, hot and cold, inconsistent. It's like, nah, you want to do that? There are billions of other people who are unawake and not accepting
Yep.
what they deserve, go do that. Go do that.
Yes.
But here, this is a sacred space. And you realize that everybody now that comes in and out of your life has a sacred purpose. Um, and actually,
Yeah.
I'm working on like a secret side project. I hope to get through at some point to be able to kind of unveil that here. And it's really about this. And it's this amazing like download that spirit has given me about the various people and the roles and how it all interconnects and things in your life. And I'm really excited about it. It's like a side little passion project. So as
And
quickly
I
as I
love
can
it.
get through that, then I will bring it on the podcast and share it with everybody because I really think it's something. It's pretty cool. But the one thing that I will say is that when you do go through the self-worth healing, you will feel lonely before you'll feel aligned. Because like I said, it's the thing that people don't want to admit, but it's like because like you throw these boundaries, there are going to be a lot of people that walk away or a lot of people that are removed or a lot of people that don't think you're fucking crazy now or
Yep.
whatever, it's whatever because you're no longer available for connections that used to fill the space, and so you don't confuse that with going backwards. So it's not like you don't, be like, oh my God, I'm, by myself and like nobody understands me. And it's like, I got to go out there and chase all that crap again. It's like, no, it's just your life making room for people who will meet you at your level and not below it anymore. And that's
Yep.
why, like, one of the first things that you learn as, especially as a divine feminine, is that you start to become magnetic. And, first you go through a lot of solitude because you have to, because they have to do all this work in you, right? But then when you start to, and they call it your glow up, like when you start to glow up and you start to understand your worth and you start to move in your light and in your passion in the world and you become fully who you are, man, like you are going to attract all kinds of people into your life that are meant to be there, that are meant to add something, that are meant to come alongside of you and like help with whatever your mission and your purpose is. So you're not doing it wrong, you're just learning how to stop abandoning yourself. And that's the real awakening. And that's been my real awakening this week. And, here it started with me doing the wrong thing. And it was like, real quick, we're going to hold up this mirror again real quick and show you something that we got some pieces out, but we're really going to take this piece now. So that's what happened. And it's because your next level, it requires a version of you that no longer negotiates your worth. And so, as broken as that has made me this week, I learned all my lessons. I will not be asking anything anymore. I'm just going to keep it moving. Keep
I
it
love that.
moving because I don't want to have to go there. Hey, at least I'm big enough to admit that it's like, hey, I did
Yep.
something kind of stupid that
Yep.
I shouldn't have done.
But
And I honestly didn't
I'll
know.
admit the reason I knew is because
Yeah.
I did the same thing she did
Yeah.
years
Yes,
ago.
because it's a
I did the
natural
same
thing,
thing.
right?
Yeah.
It's a
Because
natural
you're
thing.
like, mm-hmm. And I
Yeah,
had to
and
get smacked and put back in my place real quick. I was like,
yeah,
oh, I ain't doing that no more.
yeah.
And then I did it 3
Sometimes
more times. And then I said, okay, for real, this time I'm not doing that anymore.
okay, I'm a
Wow.
quick learner. I
Yeah.
always have been. So this was enough. But I mean,
I'm
my
there with you.
gosh, this
Yep.
was the worst. This one was the
Yep.
worst for me. And I've had some pretty bad ones, but this one was where this is worse. So, but anyways, so for anybody who needed to hear that, listen, if you are working on your self-worth, please do, because we need more people in this world that understand their worth because there's been a lot of shit. And I said this especially for women. Women start this journey of abandoning themselves and who they are very young. And it's a battle that I'm constantly scanning for that for my daughter to make sure she's good. Like that she's got, listen, that girl's got so much self-worth and so much bravery. Like she's just like that. Sometimes she just comes out of her room and I'll look at her and I mean, I'm gonna tell you what, she gets up at like 5 a.m, okay, and like she'll come out. And I mean, when I tell you, like she's gonna be 13, and like she's got her hair done, her nails done, her fits, are perfect, like whatever. And she
Fit
comes
check.
out and I'm like, my God, are you going to school? Are you like, you got a social event or
You
something?
live with
Like,
me. You live with a mini
and I was
me.
like,
You're
I was like,
welcome.
listen, I say to her, I'm like, listen, do you have to do all this like every single day? And she was like, yeah, I do. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
But you know what? I don't say anything because I was like, you know what? That girl is feeling herself. Like she feels herself and she knows her worth. So I was like, okay, girl.
Get it.
Okay. I love
Get
it. So like I said, I do the scan, I do the check for that. No, she's good. She's fine. She's just teaching her mama some stuff. So
Sure is. Take some notes, girl. Take some notes.
Exactly.
Awesome
Like
lessons.
when I tell you right now, like over the years, my confidence did not come from compliments. Let that sink in.
Okay.
So
Okay.
that's not what you need. Like I don't give a hot fuck. I don't care what the fuck anybody got to say about me.
No.
I have my own confidence, and that's how you can't break that. You can't break that because nobody built it but me.
Right.
That's correct.
It didn't come
That's
from
correct.
you look good or you did it, and that will roll into our gutter monkey.
Exactly. So, there you go. So, what do you got for a gutter monkey this week, G?
It's the appearance-based stigmas.
So, tell us a little bit about that.
So these are the people that devalue traits in you, like weight, your body shape, features that deviate from the social norms. Like if you're not rocking like a full BBL look, you ain't it. Okay. Cool.
Exactly. Uh-huh.
Ouch.
Whatever.
Yeah.
It leads to both, body dissatisfaction, the low self-esteem, and social anxiety.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I don't look great in this. Bitch, you look good. I don't care.
That's it.
Whatever it is good. And it can lead to severe mental health issues, It can lead to body dysmorphia. Like,
yeah. Oh, definitely. That's
even
that's
when
definitely a thing.
I was at my fittest, like, pimp tight.
Yep.
Everybody could tell me, like, oh my God, you look great. Girl, I did not see that in that mirror at all, ever. I was like, no, it's this, it's that, or whatever. And it was actually when I got bigger again, I was like, you know what? Fuck that. I look good,
I'm okay
bitch.
with me.
I look good.
I am good.
I am 45 fucking years old, okay? Do this at 45, motherfucker. I'm looking at 20-year-olds. Fuck you all. Fuck you all. I have 3 kids and some grandkids and be 45 and still look good. Fuck you.
Yeah, exactly.
I got it.
Exactly.
No, but
exactly.
Oh my God, my earbud just fell out.
So this is so interesting that, okay, so I told you this week I've been going through this whole self-worth thing, right? And then you hit me up, I don't know, a few days ago, and you were like, okay, for Gutter Monkey, we're going to go into this kind of like these appearance-based, stigmas that people throw at you, whatever. Okay. So I was putting all that together. And then yesterday, lo and behold, because this is how it works, guys. This is how it works. So, you'll be handed a lesson about self-worth and then almost immediately tested. And so what happened yesterday was I was going through our social accounts and I try to be responsive to people. And I happened to stumble across a new comment that was made on one of our social accounts by a guy who, I don't know if he follows us, who took the time out of his day to comment that when I was speaking about being a divine feminine, that he's questioning that I would be a divine feminine in a man's body. So let that hit.
And what did I tell you?
Fuck off.
But what did I say? What did I tell you? I said, you know what that was? It was his own projection, because you want to know something? What he saw behind that screen was he is lesser of a man. And so he felt the need to belittle you because
he's a piece of shit.
He's a piece of shit. And also he could never
I love
be the man that any of us are. Okay.
Probably. That's
So sit the
definitely
fuck down
true.
somewhere.
Yeah.
Because listen, short. Okay, keep it fucking moving.
Well,
You probably
okay,
got.
but all
He's
right.
probably got that jacked up fucking truck too. Like,
I'm sure it's
go
lifted.
fucking somewhere.
Okay.
Go somewhere else.
Okay. But so
Again,
all right, so but here
not the love and light.
was,
I'm the fucking trigger, so I'm gonna say some shit. So you're
exactly.
lucky I stay out of all of the comments because I will not only reply to you, I will tag your ass to make sure all your friends knew that you said some stupid shit.
Oh.
Just keep it moving. Ain't nobody told you had to come here.
Yeah. And so, okay, all of that. Yes. So I feel all of that. Okay. But so what I saw, so when it hit me in my feels, but I'll tell you what, it didn't break me. It didn't break me. I wasn't like a broken mess like I was prior in the week for other reasons. It didn't break me. I saw it was a test. Like I saw that. But the reason why it is because it was supposed to be one of the last things. So I have always been a woman in life that never presented ultra feminine. I've never been that woman. Even when I had long hair, I've always wore business feminine. I wore makeup. I wasn't a mask. I never fit in with my mask friends, but I wasn't solidly feminine either. I always have been more androgynous, fell in the middle. And I would get comments like that thrown at me from dudes. Like, I don't know what the hell that is, but it has always been it has always been launched at me like that. And now, like, when you said that to me, I was like, you know what? I see that because I probably am a huge threat to some men.
Yep.
Because I don't know what it is. I can move in your space. I have been in the business world. Like I can move like a man, but I
And run
can
laps
very much
around
be
them.
like a woman. Okay. Yeah, exactly. But it was not coincidence that happened because of what I was going through. And it was like the universe saying, like, let's see if you're going to be affected. And I don't want to make it sound like God's up there like playing games or whatever. It's not. It was like, we need to test this to make sure, like, this is surefire now. Like, do we need to do any additional healing with you? And the answer was no, because I was like, I kind of laughed and I was like, whatever, like, fuck this dude. And he's like, got a whole girlfriend. I was like, let me just tell you right now. Okay.
Nothing says you're satisfying your girlfriend more than coming on a spiritual podcast to make that little dick comment. Okay.
Well, and let me just say too, is like,
let's go be big,
brother.
mad, bro.
Let me just tell you, brother, I would probably be one of your biggest threats. Okay. Because I'm just telling you. I'm just telling you
how to get her there.
I'm just gonna sip my water and just, mind my business. Mind my business. Exactly. Okay. As we're saying this, your whole thing and my whole thing, like, it just cut you right off.
It said it stopped recording.
It was like, it's like, we don't want you to say this shit.
And everything shut the fuck off.
I love it.
Oh man,
I love it.
I'm gonna have to start. I don't know, like wrapping the crystals around me when I start doing my trigger this bitch segments, or I'm gonna have to do some like pre-recordings or pre-recording of the recording. Whatever.
Oh my God, it's crazy. It's almost like when you stand up to start to defend certain things, that everything starts going to shit. It's hilarious. Yep. I don't know, but that's cool. So that happened. So somebody needed to, I guess, prove their worth, I guess. I don't know. I'm not really sure.
Good for them. But it's definitely story time with Tolly because before we get cut off again. Whatever.
Exactly. All right, Tolly, what you got
today,
for us?
Girl? Oh, bye, Mr. B. He's going to be big mad because he's not
gonna be big mad.
Goodness. Sit and chill with me.
Are you big mad?
Were you big mad?
Yes. This is so great.
Yes.
This is called
God,
Dad's Little Pecker.
Is that for the guy who here, buddy?
And I dedicate this story to the gentleman that talks shit.
Yes,
by Holden Wiener.
Oh, it's our guy Holden Wiener again. I love him. Or them. I don't know.
Holden Wiener. I think he's a good dude.
Yeah, I think so too. This is awesome.
All right. Dad has a little pecker. He plays with it all day. He takes it with him everywhere and puts it on display.
Sending them dick pics, though.
Right?
That's incredible.
I got that autofocus. Mom loves his little pecker, but she doesn't understand why he always has his little pecker in his hand.
Somebody's got to play with it.
God. Oh,
He holds it while he's mowing. He holds it while he drives. He holds it while he's shaving. It's a wonder it survives.
Oh, God.
He takes it out at parties. At least that's what I've heard.
Wow.
He tells Mom, I can't help it. People love my little bird.
Oh, God. They're lying, bro. They're lying. Ain't nobody care about your little damn bird.
They get in lots of trouble when they're playing hide and seek. His pecker always wants to try to hide behind Mom's cheek.
Oh my
She
God.
doesn't seem to like it. She doesn't think it's fun. She said he almost lost it when it snuck inside her buns. I'm just going to let you look at that for a minute.
Oh my God. Okay.
Harold. Then there was the time that Dad and Pecker made a cake. Pecker spilled the batter, and it startled Mom awake.
Jesus. Oh, the batter.
She said, go put your bird away. It's causing too much stress. I'll always have to clean up when your pecker makes a mess.
Man, that sounds like a really happy woman.
Right?
Really satisfied.
Dad says, I'll take it to the den and we won't make a peep. I'll just be in there stroking it until it falls asleep.
Beat it like it owes you something.
Beat it like it owes you money.
There you go.
Oh God.
Mom said, I'm going crazy, being driven up the walls. You're playing with your pecker and you're playing with your balls.
Oh my God.
They're probably bigger than the bird there, Gutty.
If you don't stop this instant, there's just one thing I can do. Then Dad sat and listened closely to the words he knew were true.
Oh, some truth saying now.
Oh.
Now Dad spends more time with Mom and even pets her cat. His balls are collecting dust and looking rather flat.
Oh my God. Oh my
His
God.
little pecker lives inside a cage upon the shelf. Mom said that if it didn't. Where are we?
Something's gonna happen now.
Horrible hands.
Oh God.
Holy crap.
You're keeping us in suspense.
So Mom said that if it didn't, she'd go get one for herself.
Oh, damn. She said, hold my beer, bitch. I'm about to get a strap.
Oh, she was not having it.
God. Oh my God.
She was like, no. No, little peckers.
Saggy balls.
The names of these writers are just
amazing.
I know.
Golden Wiener.
That's why we got to come up with a really good pen name when we write ours.
Right?
We got to, we'll have to we'll have to do some.
Bend over.
Phil McCracken.
Phil McCracken.
Or what was the other one? How We Felter Snatch.
Oh, yes. Thank God. Forgot about him.
Howie. You filthy
My
pig.
God. Or How She.
How She. Yeah, true.
Anyway, How She. Yeah. Yeah. It reminds me of the song. Do you guys know the Taylor Swift song Father Figure?
Yup.
No.
Sure do.
So then you know the reference where her mom's gonna be like, yo, I can make deals with the devil because my dick's bigger.
Pretty much.
Okay.
Me too.
Okay, so we'll leave it there. All right. So we had all kinds of issues today trying to just get through this. Like, what in the heck? I don't know.
We need to plan more time for recordings because some bullshit is gonna keep happening.
And what the hell?
That's true, yeah.
Yeah, like we have to cleanse all of our shit and whatever. I don't know. Like, I do that, but I don't know what's going on here. Okay. Anyway, so we came in with some affirmations. G confirmed a story that she shares that we haven't even released yet, but that the person in question is going to be okay. A ladybug just went into the side of my head when I just was saying that.
Good luck.
Bizarre just hit me in the side of the head. Little
I
guy,
wonder if
it's
it's true.
so sad. Okay. It's okay. It just hit me in the side of the head when I was just saying that. Okay.
Listen, whatever
then,
it is you're saying right now, listen to it, because at least it was something tiny. Wait till it gets bigger. Whatever you're saying right now, that's it.
Yeah. It's like, okay,
When you're going back to
that's all
edit,
right.
just make
That's
sure
okay.
whatever you said right there at that moment when it hit you in the head, listen to that.
Okay, well, whatever that was, that was great. Okay, let's see. We talked about, I talked about having to learn my lesson and then go through the lesson of self worth because there was a big piece left in me that needed to be pulled out. And so I have learned that lesson now. For anybody else that may be going through that, like it's okay to set boundaries. I know you're going to do that little dance where you're afraid when you start to do that for yourself because you're like, oh my God, am I too much? These people aren't going to be able to, be in my life. They can't, they aren't going to choose me. It's okay, whatever. Then just then count your losses and,
Yep.
make room for the people that will, because they will.
Mm-hmm.
There'll be some, there'll be better days ahead for you. And then G talked about gutter monkey people being judged essentially for their like appearance based kind of stigmas and judgments. That is such fucking gutter monkey, okay? And you wonder why there's so many issues with people in the world right now, especially younger folks. At least I think the younger folks actually have a handle on this a little bit better than we ever did,
Yeah.
because I see a lot of good things out there that they're starting all kinds of movements about, like, rejecting body shaming and having, self-love for yourself, for yourself. Doesn't matter, gender related issues, like all that kind of thing. Like that's all the stuff we need more of. So if you're out there doing that, thank you for all the work that you do. Thank God for you. Like you are the wave of the future. Keep doing that. I don't care what comes up against you. Like people need that, okay? Because generations before you were fucking stupid. Okay? And so
Yes.
just whatever. You're grooming a new generation, and the generations that are coming. So the work you do is very important and shouldn't be overlooked. Um and then Tully closed us out with Daddy's little pecker and about maybe mom's gonna go get her
You're
own.
welcome.
Which was incredible. Okay. And we made some reference to some dude on the socials.
Some dude.
Yeah. Some dude on the socials, like totally insignificant. I love it. I love it. So good. So good, Tolly. It's perfect. Okay.
Completely unrelated.
All right. So I think that's where we're going to leave it. One more reminder that, like, hey, if you want to come on and vibe with us, tell us your story. We're going to include the link down below. Come be with us. Like, we don't bite.
Yeah.
And we, we'd love to get to know you, understand, maybe some of the things that you've gone through. And, anybody that's watching that would be like, hey, they might need to hear your story too. So it's not just us, it's, all of you. So feel free to let us know and we will get in contact with you. So that's where I'm going to leave it. And we'll catch you on the next one.
See ya.
See ya.